Boy, that was so good until I had to just jump right in. I ain't trying to be cute. I'm leaving the glasses on. Normally I take them off, put them on and off, on to read, off the film. No, we're going to leave them on because I got to get this to y'all ASAP. All right? Power, Book 3, Raising Kanan, Season 3, Episode 10. Made you look. And boy, did they make us look. Let's get it. All right, so it starts off with Lou. We're at the we see Lou. He's having a a session. We found out he called for this session, and it's Lou, the doctor, and Rock. So Rock is basically telling the doctor, listen, I have the same problems Lou have. I've gone through a lot of the same things that he has, and maybe I don't have an understanding because I don't drown mine in a bottle. I don't understand why he's drowning his in a bottle. And so he's like, well, that's not what it's about. Sometimes it's best to talk things out. This is what Lou tells her. Sometimes it's best to get things out there. And she was like, some things are meant to be kept inside, not to be spoken out. So I don't know if this is going to come back to haunt us next season. Like, what has Lou told this doctor? I do believe there's some type of a patient doctor think clause that'll protect them if he did tell this doctor everything. But that's kind of what was going through my mind. Like, whoa, what do you want her to talk about? What do you want her to discuss? But what was beautiful about this scene was that she wanted to know, like, why am I even here anyway? Like, in other words, I'm not the one, that's got the problem. Why am I in here being questioned? And so the doctor tells her that part of the process, part of his healing process is for him. We want to know if there's anybody in your life that you care the most about, that you want to talk to, you want to bring in, talk to, get some things off your chest, maybe apologize to him, whatever. Who's most important to you? And he named you. So you could tell that touched Rock. It's like she was like, the doctor was like, your brother really loves you. And so she looks over at Lou and is like, I love you too. You're my baby brother. Like, I was there when you was born. I held you in my arms and all. So I thought that was beautiful. And he walks her out when the session's over. He walks her out and they give each other a nice hug so they can finally begin to heal and let some of that go. So a lot of him beating himself up is because he loved her so much and he felt like he was letting her down or whatever. So he was just like trying to drown everything in the alcohol. Thought that was a really, really good, important scene. Then later we see the feds come and see Lou, and they're questioning him about his involvement with Howard, because we, in our research and in our digging, we see that Howard had put out an APB on you. For what's up with that? What connection do you have with him? He played it off like he didn't even know that Howard had put that out on him or whatever. He don't know, but he didn't tell the feds anything. He held everything to his chest, held his cards to his chest, didn't tell him anything. Even when they tried to question, how are you able to pay for this high price facility? This is a high price facility. How are you able to get treatment here? And he said, hey, I drink cheap. So next we see Marvin at the grave site. He's at the funeral. He didn't go all the way down, but he's standing back in the cut up by his car, and he's watching Gerald's funeral. You see his daughter there, and I guess social workers, because none of her family wanted her. And then the feds pull up, and they begin to question Marvin, mess with him, try to make him think that this is his fault. You pushed him to this. And he was like, no, you all did this. He wasn't built for that. Y'all wanted him to, turn on me and everything like that, and to get nothing. He wasn't going to find anything anyway. And they let him know, hey, we're on you. We're not letting up just because he's gone. So then we see Rock. She's on her. I'm assuming this is on her way back from the rehab facility. And she's driving and she pulls up to, looks kind of like the courts that she took Kanan to when he was a little boy to fight those other boys. And you can tell she's reminiscing. I'm sure she's thinking about Kanan and everything. That's my guess, because she gets slightly caught up, and then all of a sudden a black car pulls up, the windows goes down, and she looks over just in time and see that there's guns pointed at her. Boy, she floored it. She was whipping that whip in rock fashion, and she got up out of there, caused them to crash, and she was able to dodge that bullet. So later, I guess she's thinking about what happened to her and everything. So she's at her place. She's at the fireplace. You know, she's chain smoking as she does every time she gets nervous. And then Marvin comes over, and she lets apparently she had Marvin to go out to find out who did this, which I'm sure they knew. So he went to get the confirmation on who did this to her. He comes back. He say, word on the street that it was definitely Ronnie. That was after you. It was Ronnie. And so he's like, you know, Kanan works for Ronnie. And she's like, listen, I don't need you to tell me that. I know that. She said, I need you to go see Snaps and Pop, find out what's going on. What can we do to rectify this? Because I'm not getting into a war where my son is involved. So you go talk to them, see what we can do to negotiate and end this without any bloodshed or whatever. So we see Marvin go to Snaps and Pops to talk to them. And he's in their bar. They're coming back from somewhere and they're laughing and talking about how they sleep at night. I don't know. Pops looks up and sees Marvin because she got a lust demon in her. So she looks up and sees Marvin and starts flirting with Marvin, what a fine black specimen he is and everything. And so, you know, Marvin gets up, he lets them know why he's there, and everything. And they told him, listen, Snaps told him, listen, this can't be negotiated because I know Ronnie, he's a hothead. Rock's a hothead. We sit them across each other in the table, it's just not going to end well. This is just, I don't see this a negotiation solving this situation. And Marvin's like, well, you know what that means? He said, yeah, I know what that means. You know, Marvin's in there by himself. And I'm sure his little goons had probably stripped him of his piece. Don't know, but Marvin was smart enough to get on up out of there. So we see Juke. She's sitting on a park bench, and up walks Isha. Isha comes up, and she's like, I don't even know why I agreed to come meet you. I've been trying to call you for 2 weeks. You didn't answer. I was texting you. I was worried about you. You didn't reply. And so she sits down next to Juke. She said, and you reach out, and here I am. She sits down next to Juke, and Juke tells her, you know, I should have responded. I should have called you. I do apologize. I was just caught up. I was embarrassed. She's like, you ain't never got to be embarrassed with me. But she leans in to kiss Juke, and she kind of catch her on the lips. Juke pulls back like, whoa, what's going on? And she lets her know, listen, I have had feelings for you. And she was like, well, what was all that with my cousin? And she was like, well, I was confused. You know, she said something about like she've always struggled with the idea of being with a female. She maybe, you know, wondered if she liked women. It could be why she was getting queasy around Juke, sick to the stomach. Maybe it was lovesick now, I'm thinking. But she let her know that, hey, I do have feelings for you, and I now know that they're real. And so, you know, Juke was like, wow, like you could tell Juke didn't know what to do with that. And so they go on, and you later see them, they're having lunch together. So I guess they went from the park to have this lunch, and Juke begins to share with her about the military. Hey, I'm going to the military. I'm going to be leaving. She says, well, what about you and I? She said, I didn't even know until a moment ago that there was a you and I. You know, I got to leave this city. I can't just stay here and be under the thumb of my family and everything that's going on. And in my mind, I'm kind of like, dang, I don't like it when Juke talks like this to people because you don't really know this girl. It's kind of like you're admitting to what your family's involved in. I don't know. It's just a little thought I had when Juke was talking, like, careful. But anyway, so she tells her, you know, that she's going to be leaving. And so the young lady's like, well, Isha was like, well, I'll wait for you. She said, no, you won't. And I don't want you to. Because the reality of it is this. She's young. She's going to meet somebody, male or female, and move on about her life, right? She knows she's not going to wait for Juke. So then we see Kanan. He's at the bando, and he's in the bed with Crystal. They just finished doing their due. And first thing Crystal want to know in woman fashion, what do we mean to each other? And Kanan's like, I ain't trying to hear all that right now. I got a lot on my mind. I just want to, you know, fire up this blunt and have this blunt. I'm not trying to talk about that. She proceeds to tell him that she's late. Wow. Now, I know that Sean's mom is not named Crystal. So I'm wondering if somehow this is going to be like an abortion or the writer's changing. I don't know. We're going to have to find out with that. But in Power, Sean's mom is not named Crystal. So we'll see. Unless Crystal was a stage name, perhaps. Don't know. That's a thought, mate. Because she was already bougie when Butter got started. She probably had already gotten her stage name of Crystal. Who knows? Who knows? But we'll see. We'll see. Then we see Famous pull up at the bando, and he's bamming on the door. And Kanan goes and jerks the door open, and he's like, "What do you want?" And my thought is, ain't his name on that lease, Kanan? How you gonna yell at him like that? His name is on that lease anyway. And he's like, "No, I came to check on you, Kay, because you didn't hear your mom, she was involved in a drive-by. So people shot up your mom's car. So I just came to check on you to make sure you were good." He went on a rampage, boy. He goes and you see him bust in on at the restaurant where Snaps and Pop that they own. And Ronnie's in there, and Ronnie's talking to them about what happened, and they giving him a hard time, like, you trying to spray a car up and y'all miss, like you can't miss. And Ronnie was like, "I'm not the one that was shooting." They said, "Well, that's the problem. You should have been shooting." Anyway, so then Kanan comes in and he jumps up at Ronnie like, "Bruh, I told you not to touch my family. That's my family. I told you not to touch my family." And he was all in Ronnie's chest, and Ronnie was like, "Little boy, I don't take orders from you." Then Snaps hop up to try to get, between them. It's like, hey, y'all calm down, stop all that. And Kanan's like, he think he's running plays. So Kanan, I don't know, in that moment, I guess Kanan probably should realize that he was allowing you to run things all this time, Kanan. He was allowing you to. But in Kanan's mind, he was the one running stuff, but at any moment, we all knew that Ronnie could overtake Kanan at any moment that he wanted to. And at this moment, he feels he has to, because we know how Ronnie is when it comes to somebody messing up his distro, right? He don't want nobody getting involved with that. So Kanan basically ended up telling Ronnie, "You don't know me and what I'm capable of." Like they were threatening of each other. So we see Marvin, he goes and meets with his attorney. So, Marvin knows that these feds are not going to let up. He may have to, seek counsel and, things like that. So he just met with his attorney to let him know what was going on. His attorney told him that he's gonna, make some phone calls, kick around a few things to see what he can find out, like what all do they know, and things like that. Marvin even told his attorney, he was like, they're not gonna find anything because I'm not doing anything. But you could tell by the way the attorney looked at him like, cap, right? He knew better. Then we see Detective Howard being questioned by Tanner and Baptiste. So, and he's with his union rep. So they're questioning him, trying to find out about Marvin, trying to find out about his connection, him setting up Burke, all this stuff. And they tell him, "Listen, we really want to know your connection with the Thomas family, because there's got to be something going on. We know that you put out an APB on Lou Thomas. What was up with that? You put out an APB on Lou, and so you got to have some type of connection." So his union rep stepped in and was like, "Listen, we need some time. Put this on hold. We need some time. Give us some time to, for me to go over with my client, see everything that's going on. Give me some time." Tanner was like, "Listen, you got 2 days. In 2 days, we need to know. We're coming back, and you're going to be in handcuffs, and we're going to lock you up if you're not giving us any answers, because we're on to you," basically. Baptiste then tells him, "Turn in your badge and your gun." And I think it was at that moment that it got real for Howard. He knew this is real, because now I got to turn in my badge, I got to turn in my gun. So he had to turn those in as well. Then we see Howard at the mosque, and he's on his knees, and he's, having a come to Allah moment, And because he's done a lot of stuff. He's done a lot of stuff, and he knows it's catching up to him. Usually when you start seeing that, you know the end is coming. The end is coming, right? And that's what my mind was when I saw him there. I didn't see it coming. Anyway, let me stick to the story. Let me stick to it. So then someone's at Rock's door. She's in the kitchen cleaning, her guns. She's cleaning them out, getting them ready. She getting them ready for war because she knows, what's coming down the pipe. And so she goes to the door, and as soon as she opens it, the guy that's standing guard, he's like, listen, this guy, I told him you weren't having any visitors right now, weren't accepting any visitors right now. He wouldn't go away. And so she's looking at him like, bro, you at my house? What if somebody followed you? And he's like, at this point, I don't care or whatever. I have nothing to lose. That's what he said. At this point, I have nothing to lose. And he doesn't, which proves how selfish he is. You have nothing to lose, but you're going to come to my house and bring that heat to my house. They're already trying to tie you to me. And in broad daylight, you going to come to my house? This dude a trip. So he comes on in, and he's letting her know, hey, they on to us. They on to us. And she's like, they on to you. And he's still trying to convince her to turn on Marvin. We not turning on Marvin. We just not going to do that. It's family first. It's family first. We not turning on Marvin. And she's trying to tell him. There was a few times where he was saying it and giving his logic where she was just quiet looking at him. One would think that she was doing that because she was now agreeing with him. But I could tell she was doing it because in her mind, she's like, no, you gonna be the one get got. Let me just lead him to believe that I'm thinking about it so that I can draw him in. Made you look. That's the way I took that when I would see her. Because sometimes I tell myself, like, ooh, look like she believed. No. Rock ain't believing it. Rock ain't falling for it. And Rock said something very key to Howard. Everybody blame me for what's going on because he trying to convince her to turn on Marvin. He's like, I wouldn't have, I did all this because I was trying to be a good father for Kanan and I thought it would change my life and, I should have never got involved with you and your family. And this is you. And she's like, you know what? All of y'all blame me. Come to me and blame me for your problems. But then I'm the one you want to fix it. I just don't know what to think, what y'all want me to do, right? And she's right. She is right. So now we're at Famous's crib with his mom. She's doing dishes. He's on the phone. And he's talking to Mr. Gelfin, the record producer or record label guy. And the guy must be questioning him or pressuring him about Lou. He's, oh, yeah, I talked to him. He's going to come around. He was trying to make excuses for Lou as to why the man hadn't met Lou yet. And as soon as he hangs up the phone, he heads down the hallway. Maybe he's going to his room or whatever. Don't know. And as soon as he takes a few steps, the door busts in. And it's the cops. And they're hemming him up. New York PD. Hemming him up, take him in for the murder of Freddie. Turns out his mom done found a gun in his closet and went and turned it in. Now, let me say this. I know him having that gun in the house was not a good thing. But I can guarantee you, in my world, in my culture, a mother wouldn't have done that. She would have came to that child. We would have went to our child. Well, what is this? What is this? What you got going on? Now, some mothers may have talked to that child about turning themselves in. What happened? Why do you have this? But we definitely, most certainly would not have taken it to the feds, to the cops, to the police department. We would not have done that. We would not have done that. We wouldn't have done that. So there's that. But anyway, now he's hemmed up. He's in jail. And they have the murder weapon. Not only that, Mr. Gelfin has the confession tape, basically. Because that song's still out there. And once they hear that song, Lord have mercy. Famous. One thing I will say about Famous, though, he held his own in them interrogations. He did. That boy held it. He didn't tell nothing. He stayed strong, lawyer. ABCD, lawyer. 1, 2, 3, 4, lawyer. XYZ, lawyer. Hey, I need my lawyer. Where's my lawyer? Baptiste and Tanner walked in and offered him a deal. It was like, yo, if you let us know everything you can about Howard, because we know Howard, that first time you got arrested outside of Freddie's apartment, we know Howard was the one that got you off. What is your connection with Howard, and what is Howard's connection with the Thomas family? And again, Famous said, lawyer. I guess we're going to find out in season 4 what happens. Do we? I don't know. Don't know. But they got the murder weapon. They got the murder. They did the ballistics. It matches the death of Freddie. So that's going to be kind of tough. I don't know. If that song get out, he's done. It's over with. It's going to be Young Thug in Power Universe. If that song gets out. So we shall see. Then we see Juke and Kanan walking together. Kanan has met up with Juke, and it's good to see that they back on good terms, right? Because they were beefing a little upset with each other. And because for Kanan, it's definitely family first, you can tell. So Kanan and Juke are walking and talking, and she's telling him about the military. Of course, he's giving her a hard time about the military, going to work for the folks, and they don't care, whatever. He's giving her a hard time about choosing the military. And he's like, I'm going to ride or die for Queens. I'm going to stay here. I'm not going nowhere. I'm going to be right here in Jamaica, Queens. And he said, listen, more than anything, I just wanted you to know that I had nothing to do with what happened to my mom. I wouldn't do nothing like that. That's something she would do. She would do something like that, but not to one of them. Now, come on, Kanan. You know good and well she wouldn't do that to you, Marv, Lou, or Juke. She just wouldn't. She tells him, you know your mama loves you. She loves you more than... Yes, she loves herself. No, she loves you more than anything. And right when she said that, the white van pulls up that we all already know is Ronnie's van. And 2, 3 dudes jump out, got Juke at gunpoint, and hems up Kanan. And Kanan conveniently made sure he yelled out, I know this is Ronnie. This is Ronnie's doing. I know this. Well, shut up. You set this up. Anyway, so they go on, and as soon as they leave, Juke start booking. She leaves, goes running. So now we're back at Rock's house. And Howard's still there begging for her to turn on Marvin. And right in the middle of that, Juke and Marvin runs in. I guess she went to her daddy, and her daddy took her over there. And so when they got to the house, they tell him, listen, crazy Ronnie done kidnapped Kanan. So Rock leaves and goes to see Snaps and Pop, because she know they gonna have something to do with it. If of course they denied it, but she know at the end of the day, they know where he is. They know where Kanan is. So they get there, and she gets there, and she's talking to them about Kanan, and where's Kanan? Of course, they try to deny it, and Snaps was like, I'm not going to confirm or deny I know anything, but I will tell you. And she was like, well, he's got to want something. What does Ronnie want? He wants his connect and supplies back, his territory. That's what he wants. And he also wants some money. And Marvin was like, well, how much? And he said, 5. He was like, that scum nigga. I don't know what he called him. He called him something low life nigga wants 500,000. They know Ronnie ain't come up with that number. But anyway, because Snaps probably helped come up with that number. Rock was like, okay, I got it. Set it up. Set up the meat. I got it. I'll have it. So on their way out of there, Marvin's like, how you gonna get that kind of money? She's like, well, I got an idea. And so Howard, he's like, listen, I'm going with you, to the drop, because I want to make sure that, I protect you. Nobody gets to drop on you. So I want to go with you to this drop. So they go and they meet with Stefano. That's who she wants to get the money from. So it's her and Marvin. They go meet with Stefano, and, pretty much, Stefano's like, it's late at night. The only reason why I entertained this meeting this late at night is because I kind of got a little crush on you, Rock. I ain't mad at you, Stefano. Anyway, so she telling him everything, and she's telling him she needs the $500,000. And so she's putting all her failed businesses, everything. She's putting everything up for collateral, even the house. And we know how much she loved that house. She's putting everything up for collateral for this $500,000 so she can get her son back. He was like, I'm going to give it to you. But you know that $500,000, the return on that going to be pretty big. Hope your son know how much you love him, right? And hey, he gave it to her. He came through. He gave her that money. So Howard tells her right before they go to the meet, he said, all right, we get ready to do this. He said, but Rock, I'm going to tell you right now, you know that there's still a price that needs to be paid. And she just gave him this look, and then it pans over to Marvin, and Marvin, I believe Rotten already let Marvin know what's up with that. And it's like, Howard, boy, bye. So then we see a scene where Lou is talking to his doctor. And the doctor wanted to know, did he get what he needed from Rock's visit? And he said, I realized that I can only get what I need from me. And he said, well, what do you mean by that? He said, just by looking, at myself. He said, well, what do you see when you look into yourself? He said, I see what those feds see. Them coming today made me realize I'm going to always be that little, grimy nigga from, Jamaica, Queens. I'm not going to be no more than that. And so, after that little conversation, we see him walking, I guess, back to his room. And the guy come out of the cleaning closet, the little janitor guy, he comes out the cleaning closet. Lou goes by the guy at the cleaning closet, and then he goes into the cleaning closet. He gets an extension cord, like, a cord, and he puts it in his pocket, and he goes to his room. We see him tied up on the door and all kind of stuff, and he tied around his neck. So he's got that sickness that his dad had for suicide. And he's fighting that demon as well, which is very, very dark place for him to be in. But he looks, and he the way he positioned himself, there's a mirror right there. And he sees himself in the mirror, and that he just broke down. He took the thing from around his neck, slid down to the floor in tears, and he just broke down. And I'm glad he was able to break from that, and hopefully he won't have to suffer from that in the times to come. But that was very, very a very sad moment. So we're at the warehouse at the meeting place where Snaps and Pops sent Rock to meet Ronnie and, get Kanan back. And when they get there, they see Ronnie standing there with a gun, and Kanan's back in the cut area. He's standing back in the cut. And they get to talking and everything. And Ronnie's just straight to business. He's like, she tossed the bag, and she was like, he made it clear. He was like, that money, I just wanted my, my Connect and my distro back. That money, that's all your son. He's the one who wanted that money. And she was like, my son. And then and Kanan steps over and was like, yeah, you both been played. So Rock was like, she was shocked to find that out. And she was like, you don't know what you're doing, Kanan. You don't. And he says, yes, I do. It was another fake kidnapping. It was like, you both been played. So he walks over there, and Ronnie kind of like does him like this, like, get your money. He's like, no, man, that's all you. And as soon as he bends down and he opens the bag and he's looking in there, Kanan starts reaching. He reached back and he up to the dome, one to the dome on Ronnie. And it's like, wow, he got him. And everybody was like, whoa. Howard was like, what the? Because he just popped Ronnie right there in front of them. Right? Because he wasn't going to let that go what Ronnie did behind his back. That, he wasn't going to let that go. Shooting at his mama like that. He couldn't let that go. How you going to go into business with me after you done just shot at my mom? Like, come on. And in the aftermath of that, You could tell Rock was shocked, but she had to snap back, and she hurried up and went and grabbed Ronnie's piece off the floor. And in my mind, like, why she grabbing Ronnie's piece? So I thought, well, maybe she gonna pop them two dudes is outside, right? They know on their way out they got to go out guns a blazing, so she gonna need that. Nope. She upped and kills Howard. Now, you couldn't just set him up for that whole thing that was going on in there? Like, I don't know. Plant some drugs on him or something? Get him, I don't know, because then he would have told. Scratch that, because he gives me snitch vibes. He would have told. Anyway, he had to go. Howard had to go. Because if only way Howard would not, at some point, yeah, now he's saying give up Marvin, right? Later on down the line, he would have said give up Lou. Then he would have said it was going to come to them. He's selfish. He had to go. He had to go. So, but in front of his son, Rob, that's kind of crazy she did this in front of his son. Especially after making him do it and you saw what that did to y'all relationship. Now you did this in front of him. I don't know. I just feel like there was a way that could have gotten done that same night away from Kanan. I don't know. But yeah, they both gone. Ronnie, gone. Howard, gone. So then Marvin comes in too. What happened? What just happened? He sees those two bodies there. Then the two goons come in. So maybe Marvin, because he was out there in the cut, he sneaked in another way. Because then them two goons come running in. And Marvin took care of the two goons that was outside. She looks at Kanan and said, "You're coming with us." And as they're running to the car, Kanan's like, "What did you do?" And she's like, "I did what had to be done." So I'm sure she's going to explain to him what went down. And I guarantee you with Kanan, once he finds out that his dad was trying to set up Marvin, I'm pretty sure he'll choose Marvin over his dad and he'll understand. But then the last scene of the episode, you looking at it. My boy Neek. My boy Neek is back. And that ain't no ghost. I've been hearing people say that. Look at all them scratches in his face. The eye, he got on a totally different outfit from when he died. That ain't no ghost. That is Neek. Neek is back. Neek is back. And I can see now, because I saw some videos floating earlier about him possibly being Breeze. Now I can, because I thought he was dead to this moment. I was like, oh, why are these people saying that? He gone. Skull fragments, hair, blood, he gone. Right? But I can see him being Breeze because I'm pretty sure he had some type of brain damage, some type of damage to the trauma to the head. So I could see him being different now. Right? I can see that. Him being different. I can see that, him being definitely loving. He's always been, that. And that's the way Ghost described him, being loving. I can see that. He loves to give nicknames. We already know that. So I can see him giving Ghost the nickname. So I can see this theory makes more sense to me than Ronnie being Ghost that everybody was doing. I was never with that one. But we shall see. And now we gotta wait for season 4. Only thing what we got next, BMF coming up next. And then I think Force after that. Not sure when Force is coming. Power Book 2. I like that. Now, before this season, Power Book 2 was my favorite. This my favorite now. This is my favorite. Oh no, I love Tyreek though. But this my favorite. I like this one. I guess because there's more characters in here that I like. So this one has to be my favorite. All right. But that's all I got Make sure you like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Hit that noti bell so you'll be notified every time Cass McCoy uploads a new review. And as always, stay safe and on to the next one. Peace.